Hey there, and welcome to my lazy review of this new movie, Twisters, which is a sequel to 1996's Twister. So, they just put an S at the end of it. But, when this was first announced, I wasn't sure how to feel because Twister for me came out when I was 15 years old, and I don't care how stupid or cheesy that film is, it just has a soft spot in my heart because I love it for what it is. Now, for just, forever, for such a long time, there was all these talks about making a sequel. Even 10 years ago, Bill Paxton was talking about directing a sequel. About 3 or 4 years ago, Helen Hunt was going on press tours talking about she had her own ideas for a Twister sequel, but hey, it never happened. Hey, you know what, Hollywood? It is what it is, and also stop waiting 25, 30 years to make a goddamn sequel. After watching the trailer, I do admit that, well, 2024, better CGI. Also, Glenn Powell. I mean, Glenn Powell, just look at the guy.
Stop. My penis can only get so erect.
But yeah, the trailer, it just seems like more of the same, but also a little bit different because now, instead of chasing twisters and like finding out more about them, now we have to find a way to take them down. And hey, you know what my take is? Every movie I see, I'm not paying for it. So hey, if it sucks, I'm not going to feel too bad. All right. So as I always do, let me just go to the theater, use my good old Regal app. I'll be right back. But beforehand, please enjoy my intro. Okay, I'm back, and now let's talk about Twisters. Well, off the bat, we have this character, Kate, played by Daisy Edgar Jones. She's a young girl, she's an amateur scientist, and she has a bunch of friends. What does she want to do? She wants to study Twisters, but she also has this theory, and I guess it's kind of like scientific and maybe not too fantasy, but perhaps Twisters can actually be stopped. I guess the whole premise is that Twisters, they are a culmination of moisture in the air, and what if there was a way to evaporate all the moisture in the air? She tries to do an experiment and a bunch of her friends get killed. I mean, yeah, it's a little bit different than the first film where we had Helen Hunt's character, her dad gets killed. But yeah, the opening 5 minutes, a bunch of people get killed by a twister, and I was like, damn.
Boy, that escalated quickly. I mean, that really got out of hand fast.
Now some time passes, a few years, one of her friends doesn't die, and he joins the military. He comes back, and you know what, Kate? It's been some time. Now technology is a lot better, and I have some connections. Perhaps your ideas and your theories, they actually could work. So she joins a team, and if you did watch the first film, Carrie Elways or Yules, or I can't say the guy's name, but well, his team was all scientific. They're all corporate. Kate joins a team akin to how they were in the first film. Then we'll say about a half hour in, guess who joins the movie? Glenn Powell, playing a character called Tyler. I mean, come on, guys, it's Glenn Powell. He enters the film, he's smiling, he's got blue eyes, he's just ruggedly handsome. It's like staring in a mirror. Tyler and his team, they're just blue collar workers, they're just salt of the earth people, they're basically just like Bill Paxton's team in the first Twister. And I can tell you one thing, Glenn Powell is just having the fucking time of his life. He's smiling and just going out there. There's this natural disaster going on where there's a bunch of like hurricane twister seasons, and there's a whole bunch attacking, or I'm not sure how you want to rate it, but they're forming at the same time. It's funny because they almost take the twisters like they're a freaking Godzilla monster, where the twisters, it's a big storm and they're coming after everybody.
Holy.
You ever see anything like this?
Not like this.
Hold on.
So we have two different teams for two different reasons, studying the twisters, what's going on, and that's pretty much the entire plot of the film, guys. It's not a complicated storyline, just like the first Twister was not a complicated storyline. And let's get into my lazy questions, because questions, I love them, you like them, they're fun. Let's get to them. Now, question number one is, how do I feel about the film? Look, so many people out there, myself included, loved Top Gun Maverick for exactly what it is, but by all accounts, Top Gun 2 is just Top Gun 1.5. Twisters is kind of similar to that, where if you go watch Twister, then Twisters, it has so many of the same plot points where the opening sequence, there's somebody killed by a tornado. Later on, the characters grow up a little bit, and now we have them coming back for one last ride, and technology is getting better, but also maybe a drive-in movie theater, but this time it's a theater getting destroyed by twisters. Perhaps at the end, I mean, guys, it's minor spoilers, it's a friggin' Twister film. There's going to be a massive F5 tornado killing a lot of people, and I like this film for exactly what it is. Now, you could say that you could watch Twisters without ever having watching Twister, it feels weird to call this a sequel. I guess they're rating it as a standalone sequel because some minor spoilers here where you're not going to see anybody from the original cast coming back making cameos. That's fine. So it is kind of weird calling it a direct sequel, but also it doesn't retcon anything that happened in the first film. It's the exact same film with like 10% more differences because cloud seeding does exist, and is there any actual science about destroying the moisture in the air and stopping a twister? Probably some BS, but you know what? The first film had its fair share of BS. It's just, I'm fine with that. And also, a small tangent, but like kudos to the director. The director said, you know what, guys, hell with this. I'm not all about spreading messages and trying to preach to my audience. I just want to make a freaking disaster film for exactly what it is. I loved it. It's not as stupid and funny as, say, Godzilla vs. Kong. It's a little bit more serious, but also it's not too serious. It still is PG-13, and yes, there is some deaths, but it's the same kind of violence as Twister. But number 2 is would I recommend you see this film? If you like Twister, go see Twisters. If you thought Twister was stupid, and it is, but stupid fun, if you didn't like that film, don't go see this film. And that's all I can say, guys. So question number 3, most importantly to me, is, you know what? Thanks to good old Regal and my app, I wasn't paying for it, but do I think that you should pay for this film? Damn sure I saw this movie in IMAX. If you want a fun, silly popcorn movie that doesn't take itself too seriously, I would highly recommend you go spend your money to go out and see Twisters. And that's pretty much it, guys. I'm probably rambling on and talking about this film more than it deserves. So every film I do, this one is no different. I have to rate it. And when it comes to a film like Twisters, it's not a hard movie to rate. I honestly would rate Twisters as a worthy sequel. I think when this comes out on digital, go ahead and watch part 1, watch this one back to back, and just sit back and have a good time, guys. As I always do, I have to check my watch because I'm always freaking busy. I'll see you next time, and cheers.
This calls for a drink.
So good. And one last thing, my favorite part is everybody needs a...
It's called a catchphrase.
Yes, the summer is here. It's 2024. Go out, see Twisters, and also pretty soon, Deadpool 3. Looking forward to seeing that. And yeah, have a great day. Thanks for watching. But for me, well, I always have to head back to work.